All right, General, thanks very much for your time.
Peter, thank you.
We'd like to turn now to something the military is trying right here at CFB Petawawa, a strategy to save lives. The idea: give combat soldiers the skills they need to help the wounded in the critical, chaotic moments after an attack. The CBC's James Murray reports.
The bombs and bullets are real enough, but the fight is a fake. A military exercise rolling and patrolling through the snowy fields of CFB Petawawa. Practice for the dangerous tour of duty ahead in Afghanistan, including one of the most feared weapons in the Taliban arsenal, the roadside bomb. In an instant, this convoy is hobbled.
On fire, let's go!
And there are wounded. But watch what happens next, because this is something new. In this exercise, casualties aren't being treated by medics.
No breathing. No breathing.
I'm just gonna check your vitals.
These are regular soldiers. Corporal Naomi Okimawinanu usually fixes weapons.
I'm just gonna check your pulse.
Now she's being asked to fix her fellow fighters as part of a new training program called tccc, Tactical Combat Casualty Care, designed to deal with the kinds of wounds inflicted on Canadian troops in Kandahar and Panjwai. Protected by helmets and high-tech body armor, more soldiers are surviving strikes by rockets and roadside bombs. But they still suffer life-threatening injuries in areas the armor doesn't cover. Blocked airways, major bleeding from wounded or missing limbs, and lungs that overinflate and cause shock. That's what tccc covers. And after 2 weeks of intensive training, these soldiers seem more like doctors.
How's he doing?
I'm checking the pulse right now.
Make sure you write it on that card.
Just every scenario is different, so you kind of have to go with the situation you're given, and from there it can be chaos or it can be, you know, nice and smooth, depending on how your people react and how you react. So.
How have you been reacting?
Sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Okay, fill it out. Again, she's gonna be a cry 1. Put her semi-sitting. Okay, shock position.
Okay. Double check my work there.
Yep.
When you got 2 tourniquets, both applied?
Yep.
While all of this is going on, the fighting continues.
Okay, you're covered. Okay.
The medicine won't matter much if the battle is lost. Under fire and with adrenaline pumping, the decisions made here are made in a hurry. Which troops should push off in that direction, shooting at the enemy, pushing them back? Which soldiers should stay here and provide protection? And who should look after their fallen colleagues lying on the ground?
From this distance, I'm just looking at what's going on. It looks like this soldier suffered a leg injury.
Each decision is watched and weighed, evaluated by senior officers who are sure their new techniques will save lives.
If they can get him to a hospital, then that soldier, that injured person down there, has a 90% chance of survival. Actually, it's higher, it's 95%.
You want to have the skills to help your own people, so if something, or even yourself, if you get wounded in battle, then you know that you have the skills there to help yourself if you can.
Soldiers who have already served in Afghanistan say the training makes them feel more confident in the field.
Do you know you can save your friends if it happens, and not have a single doubt in your mind is by far the biggest asset you have. It'll keep you much calmer during all scenarios.
Still, there are limits, and here, like in Afghanistan, people die. And even in an exercise, that's tough to take.
When you're done, what you can do, all you can do with all the resources that you have for a casualty, and you lose them anyways. That's probably the hardest part. And Mr. Potato Head.
With the date of her Afghan mission now just weeks away, Naomi Okimawinanu and her husband, Michael Trowbridge, talk about the possibility of her dying almost every day.
Just the reality of it all. Like, there is the possibility that she may not come home.
Or she may come home wounded. Okimawinanu used to think she would rather die.
I just wouldn't want to live, but since I had my son, it changed that. At least if I can hold him or teach him things, you know, I can handle it.
It's the kind of talk that would put a strain on any marriage. But these two say they're okay, in part because he's in the military too, a weapons technician, just like his wife, and like her, eligible to serve in Afghanistan. Trowbridge has already taken part in one of the Afghan conflict's saddest duties, serving as a pallbearer at a repatriation ceremony at CFB Trenton.
I didn't even know the person, and it was still hard for me. There was a little girl, and we could hear her crying, standing in the front, and that was difficult for me.
As hard as this was, Trowbridge says he'd insist on doing it one more time for his wife if she dies overseas.
I wouldn't want 8 complete strangers to bring her off the plane. It'd be hard for me to take her off the plane, but just for the fact of my love for her, I would do that in a heartbeat. I would want to be the first person to take her off the plane.
The biggest thing he could do, put his feelings aside to bring me home.
There is no training course that covers this. James Murray, CBC News, Canadian Forces Base, Petawawa.